Okay guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss the best practices in lead generation in 2023. As always, hit the button below to subscribe so you can hear more videos from us. In 2023, if you're still using the same shitty lead generation tactics that were like 4 or 5 years ago, then you're never going to survive in business, unfortunately. Before the pandemic, things were very, very different, okay? During the pandemic, people were doing Zoom workouts, they were selling shitty programs left, right, and Chelsea, and people were mopping it up. But what they soon came to realize was that on the other end of that, they weren't being fulfilled by the coach, okay? So we're just buying programs for the sake of it. So people spent a lot of money on things that just didn't work. So now the trust is no longer there when it comes to PTs or online coaches, which makes our job 10 times harder. Okay, so this is why using a 3-step script to get someone on a call just isn't going to cut it anymore. Now more than ever, people are really hesitant to join online programs, and we can understand why. Okay, so if you're being fucked over by every Tom, Dick, and Harry, then you're really not going to buy anything. And people are struggling. People need that accountability. So people are still willing to spend the money if they trust who you are. So today, what I'm going to go through is the different tactics and the messaging flow that you need to adapt right now into your lead generation in order to actually gain clients in 2023. So the method that we use inside the FBU is to actually teach coaches how to have proper conversations. We don't give you a script so you can copy and paste messages to send to every single person on Instagram. What we want to teach you is actually how to build a relationship with people and build rapport naturally and being authentic really with your audience. So if you want to obviously find out, make sure you keep listening the rest of this video. So the method that I want to teach you is obviously the messaging flow. Okay, so what you're going to do first of all is actually start the conversation. So the best way I find to start conversations nowadays is through people's stories. Watching what they're doing, like if they're in the real time, like they're sharing their personal life through the stories, this is the best time for you to actually start a conversation with them instead of sending them like a spammy cold DM. Think about like whenever you're having conversations with people, like they come off more naturally when it's something that is personal to you and it's something that you're actually showing in your life on your stories. So my biggest tip would be to follow more people and engage in their stories, asking questions about what they're actually doing, okay? Doesn't need to be a creepy question. Don't need to be sending emojis to people, but asking questions about like where they went for coffee, what kind of things they're doing at the weekend, where they've been on holiday, like if they've got something about a trip, if they've got something about the gym, it's okay to ask people those questions because it comes off more natural. The next thing you're going to do is build the rapport, okay? So the rapport building stage is super, super important, which a lot of people actually skip over. But think about things that you might actually have in common with this person that you're speaking to. That is hopefully your ideal client, by the way. Think about the different things you might have in common. So you might like to travel, that other person has a lot of traveling pics. They've got lots of highlights of different places. Maybe both of you have dogs. Maybe you both are interested in the gym. Maybe you both like to cook. Build that rapport and build that relationship early on in the conversation because that's going to help you then build the third part of this messaging flow, which is the trust, okay? Once someone learns to trust you, the conversation comes off so much more naturally, okay? And have you noticed that I haven't given you a single script, by the way, in this video, and I only copy and paste the messages because it should just be natural. It should be you, it should be authentic, okay? Now, you're not here to be best friends, everybody, but there's always a purpose behind messaging people. So make sure that you are being strategic on how you're actually positioned in this conversation. So the trust building stage is going to be really important. This is where you're going to ask insightful questions, make sure you understand where they're from, what they do, where they live, ask about their family if they have one, ask about different hobbies they may have in common with yourself. Then the next part, which is the fourth part, is going to be the transition into fitness. Now, this is where most coaches really struggle to do this, but there is really simple ways of transitioning slowly around through the conversation. If you started the conversation off naturally and you started in a strategic way, maybe you've asked them about like where they've been to walk, where they've been on holiday. It's not uncommon for you to then be like, oh, whenever you went on holiday, like the hotel you stayed at, did it have a gym? That's not an uncommon question for a coach to ask someone. I know when I go on holiday, I look for a hotel gym all the time and I look for somewhere that is close by to a gym because it's important to me on holiday. So it's not uncommon for you to ask people like that, those types of questions. So the transition into fitness is going to be the hardest part for you. But again, remember, don't then just go, oh, and by the way, like what is your goals? Because that is just point blank. That person's probably going to shut down, they're going to ghost you, and they're probably not going to get a response again. So make sure that how you open your conversation, first of all, is going to lead you down that path to transition slowly into fitness, okay? So the fifth one is going to be offering help, okay? Once you've got the transition into fitness, there's going to be a gap in there where you're going to start asking questions, okay? So maybe you ask them questions about what their goals are, you know, maybe like, okay, like they want to lose like 5-10 pounds in the next couple of weeks. What have they tried before? What have they done before to achieve this? You know, have they worked with someone before to achieve this? If not, why not? Okay, so they're the questions you're going to ask, and then you're going to offer them the help. Okay, 100% think I can help you with this. Whatever kind of like information you have about your program, you know, make sure it's adapted to your actual niche, and then you're going to book them onto a call. Okay, so that 3-step process that you have been taught to do is now maybe a 6-step process. Okay, so it's not as easy anymore to get someone on a call as it used to be. And you being being salesy and pushing the DMs is going to make more people ghost you and never want to speak to you ever again. This should just be a standard messaging flow for every single person, okay? So if you are listening to this and you're really scratching your head going, I don't understand why people aren't messaging me back. I don't understand why I'm not booking calls. Have a look at how you're actually talking to people. Are you being real? Are you being authentic? Are you actually listening to what they're saying? If not, then this is what you're missing. Okay. So make sure you write down this messaging flow, build out your own kind of script. Like what questions will you ask? Like what way? How would you speak to people? Like how would you open a message? Write that down. And I 100% think that you will actually book calls after this video.